I mean, I can't roll my R's either, so when I say Katura, I'm trying to...
Just go.
Yeah, it sounds easy. I can't do that. Oh, I wish they were heating pads. They're just scales. Yeah. Everyone thinks they're heating pads, though. Somebody needs to make that. This is a great coffee. Let it sit for another week or two. Yeah. Yeah. Start with the Ethiopia, then go to this one. Yeah. Enjoy it. I always hope that I never over extract a coffee. Like, it should never sit that long. I would much rather like under extract, get a little bit lighter body, then over extract. So you'll get a little bit more acidity to that. You might miss out on some of the like fruitier notes to the coffee, but it's so much better that way than over extracted. I hope I am. Oh no, we're passing it around. This is a great coffee.
You said how much you source from there?
This is 100 grams. Just smell this.
100 grams. Okay.
What's 100 grams? So, okay, so you got an entire bag.
Yeah, very floral. What, water? Oh, I make it. So I buy distilled and then I add in minerals. So I'm adding in magnesium, potassium, and calcium. And I want the ppm, the particles per million, to be around 60. If you really want to nerd out and make your own, then you can like get like lotus drops and stuff that are actually just like pure magnesium, pure potassium, pure calcium. But if you don't want to nerd out and you just want to like have some really good coffee, then I mean honestly, the coffee beans you're buying matters way more than, you know, next thing in line is water, but that matters way more than anything else. Oh, Los Lajones. Oh yeah. Oh, that one was great. Yeah. I missed that one. What was interesting is it was pretty light body, and so
for a shot too.
Yeah.
Like you don't
those are the best. Those are the best, you know.
Like it was.
Yeah, let this cool.
Yep.
Very tea-like. When it cools down, even more tea-like.
It's a filter thing, but it hangs on the wall.
Oh.
And it's just like a little fan.
That's cooler than mine.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. I'm loving these little heating pads.
Oh, I wish they were heating pads. They're just
they're
scales.
not? Oh.
Yeah. Everyone thinks they're heating pads, though. Somebody needs to make that. 'Cause that would be a great idea. Imagine it weighed, it heated, it timed it, all of it. All right, come and smell. You gotta get the full experience. Very tea-like coffee. Come in one more time. It changes. Smell tea. Come smell this. You're getting full experience today. I do this because it changes once I put it in a paper cup. The paper kind of overtakes it. So very tea-like coffee. If you let it cool down, it literally tastes like a tea.
How many grams of the beans?
18. Yeah, 18 grams coffee and 290 mils of water. Yeah.
That's interesting. It's kind of like.
It's called a mellow drip, and it does very low agitation. You're so strong, that's what it is.
What do you mind?
Bye. Okay, smell this. So this is a coffee that you definitely need to let cool down.
Yeah.
So give it a few minutes.
Yeah.
As it cools, lots of nice kind of navel orange notes will come out. It even gets a little chocolatey towards the end, which is interesting. But yeah, smell is very nice. Slight guava notes to it.
So around here there doesn't seem much specialty coffees, right?
Like good specialty coffee? Yeah. That's why I started this.
Yeah.
So I'm born and raised in San Jose, so I'm very familiar with the area, the greater Bay Area as well. And the coffee scene, although we pioneered third wave coffee, which is like getting a little bit lighter, we pioneered it maybe 20 or so years ago. We're like nothing compared to what some other countries have done with coffee, and focusing on geishas and really high-end varieties. And so I've been roasting for 13 years, and I spent 10 or so of those years buying these really high-end coffees because I couldn't find them anywhere. Nobody was. Even people who would roast lightly, it still wasn't light enough for what I thought was good. And so I started this 3 years ago because I wanted to show people that there's great coffee out there, that you can get these really fruity notes, you can get these floral notes, these tea-like notes in the coffees if you roast them lightly. And so yes, I am one of very few people in the Bay Area that roasts this light and that focuses on, like, the amount of geishas I have on my menu. Like, you can't find that anywhere.
Yeah. Usually I go to the stores at 1.
Maybe if you get lucky.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like what people think black coffee tastes like.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't at all. It tastes fruity, right?
Yeah,
There's
more
like
tea.
more like tea, exactly. And that's what most people don't realize coffee can taste like. So if you can expose them to these coffees, then they will start to embrace it more. But right now, it's like 90% of coffee drinkers think that, you know, your Starbucks types of drinks, the flavored ones, that's what coffee is. But it's not. This is what coffee is. So if I grabbed a lot of their coffees and wanted to roast them lightly, they would not taste very good. They taste very earthy, kind of like chocolatey a little bit. So you have to have the right beans. So it's not just the roasting style, it's who you're buying it from. So all these producers here are famous producers because they grow really great coffee. They have good practices at their farms. Like, seriously, that's how I get the best coffee. Yeah, that's how it should be, but that's how I get the best coffees too, because I'm paying top dollar for their coffee to showcase it. And they have to trust me that I'm able to showcase it properly, you know? And hopefully you're enjoying that coffee, but you know, I put a lot of work into ensuring that I roast it very well, you know? Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you tried the wash. That was from last year's harvest. This is from this year's. This is a honey and double anaerobic. So they left the cherries on. They threw it in a tank, sealed it off, sucked out all the oxygen for I think it was like a day or two, and then took them out. Took off the cherry, threw them back into the tank, sealed it off again, and then so that's why it's called double anaerobic. And yeah, it's good. It's a little more silky tasting. Definitely not earthy. If you remember the last one, it was a little earthiness to it. Far less of that. Little sweetness. I got lots of pear in it. Little bits of lemongrass.
Are there any on the menu that you feel like it's like a must try?
Must try. So if you start here and you go all the way down, they're all must tries.
Okay.
No.
I mean, that's tough, you know?
So okay, tell me a little bit about the coffees you like, and then I can kind of recommend one. Because they're I would suggest must tries based on what you like, you know. And you're gonna have it black, or do you add something in it?
I usually do black.
Okay, perfect.
V60 at home as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great because all the notes you see on there when you drink it black, so it's great. It's great. I use it for my Ethiopian coffees. Yeah, whenever they're kind of naturals or have lots of berry notes in it, I do a hybrid. So first part's percolation, the second part is immersion, and then I feel like that soaks up a lot more of the berry notes and extracts it. Yeah, I like to switch a lot.
How you pronounce these two? The variety? I tried to make the
Katuai and Katukai. Yeah.
Trying to make the right pronunciation.
Yeah, those are hard words. Those are tough. Yeah, they are. I mean, I can't roll my R's either, so when I say Katura, I'm trying to...
Just go.
Yeah, it sounds easy. I can't do that. Yeah, so I think the best way to drink coffee is without a lid. So you pick up the aromas on it better. It's just when you're walking around, but when you're gonna actually drink it, take it off. Yes, see, you guys know. You know. I don't know exactly where the parent is from, but a lot of varieties are based on a Bourbon, and then they just were creating a lab or a genetic hybrid of it. Because they wanted to, maybe that country wanted to focus more on higher yield or disease resistance or something like that. There's some varieties that are really prone to coffee diseases, and especially in that country, in that climate. So then they'll create other varieties in a lab that will be less disease or more disease resistance. Hi, how are you? Good.
We have that strawberry and chocolate coffee.
Which one was that one?
Chocolate covered strawberry.
It was like really fermented coffee. Do you remember the origin? What country? No. All right. Okay. Try this one. This new Colombian that I have. Although it's like navel orange and black plum and whatnot, it is a little kind of like the fermented kind of strawberry-esque notes, and then when it cools, it gets a little bit chocolatey, a very stereotypical Colombian note to it. I think you're gonna really like that one. It's great hot and cold, but it's completely different when it's cooled down. And that's where you get the Muscat grape, which is like my favorite grape. I still just have all my equipment out here. I just have like what I expect a typical home brewer to have, because I want you to buy my bags and brew them at home. You know?
Absolutely. Like, if it only tastes good with a $5,000 grinder, it's a really good coffee.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. People write me all the time on my like videos, and they write me direct messages. They're like, "Hey, I want to get this grinder. It's like way more expensive than mine." They're like, "Tell me what you think of this," and I'm like, honestly, if what I say about it doesn't really apply, because I want you to like have the cheapest entry point to just buy my coffee, you know, and enjoy it that way. Those are Neo. Oh yeah, I have 2 of them. I use it for number 40, some washed geishas. To be honest, I don't like it too much. It's good for consistency. If every morning you wanted a coffee that was good, but maybe not the best you've ever had, it's perfect, because even if you mess up your pour, it's gonna help you. It's gonna bring you back in and give you a good tasting coffee. But it stunts acidity a lot. Yeah, acidity, you'll lose it. Even if you have like I don't even know if I have any really acidic coffees right now, but if I had one that was extremely acidic, you pour it over in a Neo, the acidity's gone. It's kind of crazy, yeah. How's it going? How are you? Good to see you.